Hey, what's up, guys? So, for today's game, the setting is in New York, 1956, and we have Donald Byrne against 13-year-old Bobby Fischer, who was a chess prodigy at the time. But it was after this game that the world came to know about Bobby's brilliance, and this game is known as the game of the century. So, we have Donald Byrne playing white and Bobby Fischer as black, and let's get to the game. So we have NF3 by Byron, and Bobby plays NF6. We have C4, G6, Knight C3, Bishop G7. We have D4, so white could play E4 next and turn this into a King's Indian. Bobby castles. We have Bishop F4. We have D5, and now this game has turned into the Grunfeld defense. So we have Queen B3, which is a pretty odd move because, playing E3 would have been more convenient. So you have D into C5, Queen into C4. We have C6 because Queen and Bishop were attacking the C7 pawn. So white plays E4, solidifying the center. We have NB D7, so black's threatening to play NB6 next and get rid of the queen. So we have Rook D1. As planned, NB6 tries to get rid of the queen, but queen plays Queen C5. So you have Bishop G4 pinning the knight. So the knight can't move. So we have Bishop G5. So this is what could be considered a mistake because technically in the opening, you wouldn't want your pieces to move twice because, white's bishop is still not developed yet, the white bishop. So black capitalizes this by playing Knight A4. And you would wonder, this is like giving away free knight. So, what is the purpose? So if knight takes, the threat is we have N into E4, threatening both the bishop and the queen, because Knight C3 is not guarding the pawn anymore. So you have Queen B4, probably, then Knight into G5, Knight takes, and Bishop takes the Rook, and then we have King takes, and you could see that the situation is pretty good for black. So this is just one line that I wanted to show you. Another line could be after Knight takes pawn, Queen into E7. So after that, you have Bishop at F3. Queen takes Queen, Rook takes Queen, the Bishop takes, and Bishop takes D1, attacking the Knight as well. So the Knight is forced to move to C3, attacking the Bishop. Rook takes, Knight takes. So in this position, you can see that the D4 pawn is hanging as well, and Bishop will take the pawn the next move, and black is a pawn up, and it's a pretty good situation for black. So this is something that Byron would want to avoid. So due to all that, we have Queen playing A3. So the Queen goes back to A3, Knight takes, pawn takes, and now we have N into E4. So knight is a pawn up, but then you could see that bishop could take E7 and get a rook. So you would feel that white is ahead because he's going to get a better exchange. But then this is where Bobby plays a brilliant move, which is Queen B6. Now what could be the threat? You could see that white bishop could take the rook on F8 and be ahead. But then if he plays that, then you have bishop in F8 attacking the queen and gaining tempo. So queen is forced to move probably to C1, and then you'll have the knight into C3, and if queen takes, then you have bishop B4 forking the queen, and the queen's gone. And you'll have rook E8 coming up next, and the situation is very ugly for white. So this is something Byron will definitely want to avoid. As you can see, even the knight is, attacking the rook as well. So in order for all that, Biden comes up with a better strategy and he plays bishop c4 instead, because he wants his king to be safe and he wants to castle the next move. But black will not let him do that. So he plays n into c3, immediately attacking the rook and forcing queen to take the knight. So if queen takes, then you have another threat. You have rook e8 and bishop can't move. So in order to save the bishop, what could white do? So white would have to move queen to a3. If he does that, bishop into f3, pawn takes f3, and you could play queen c7, and that white bishop is gone the next move after castles. So you could see that pawn structure is so bad, and even though white did castle, his situation is not good at all. So again, queen cannot take the knight. Black is giving white so many opportunities, and instead white plays bishop c5, which is a pretty good move because now he's attacking the queen as well. But then he plays rook e8 check, so king plays f1. So all in all, the situation seems pretty good and has been well managed by white so far. But we have the move of the century for our next move. So please do pause the video and try to figure out the move. It is bishop e6. This game is called the game of the century, so this has to be the move of the century. So what is happening here? So you can see that black is giving up a free queen for the exchange. So first we'll just see all the variations. So what will happen if bishop into e6 happens? So if bishop into e6, then there's an instant mate threat. You have queen b5 check, king goes to g1, you have ne2 check, again king goes back to f1. Now we have the double check and we have the beautiful checkmate coming up. Rook takes, we have ne2 checkmate. So that is black's threat if bishop into e6 happens. But come on, black is giving up a free queen. So who wouldn't want a free queen for this exchange? So Byrne plays bishop into b6. What else can he play? So what does white do? White takes bishop into c4 with check, king goes to g1, we have ne2 check, king f1. He takes the pawn first and then gives a discover check. So again the king is forced to move. He could play to c3, but he picks up the pawn first, goes back to e2 check, king goes back. Now he goes to c3 with another discover check, and instead of taking the rook right away, he takes a bishop and there's a discovered attack on the queen with tempo. So queen is forced to go to b4, and now he plays rook a4, again saving the bishop as well as attacking the queen, and now he takes the rook. So you can see that black is so many pawns up, and although he's a queen down, his position is pretty strong. So black is just picking up pawns for fun. This is too good for black. So white is offering an exchange which is only good for black, because now white has just a queen and a knight. So bishop plays d5. What can white do? White can't do much, to be honest. So you have nf3. So the threat is to go to e5 and then d7 and try to do something. White is trying its best to do something. Goes back to ne4, queen b8, attacking the pawn pushes b5, a4. Next move is a5, threatening. So in order to avoid that, black should play h5. So Bobby plays that. Then we have ne5. Threat is again nd7. So in order for that, Bobby plays king g7. So now the threat is on white, because black can play bishop d6 and pin the queen, the knight, and the king. So the king has to move. Now once the king moves, it's over. It's game over. So now we have an instant mate. We have bishop c5 check, knight g3 check. Again, the series of moves. White cannot do anything. These are all forced. and c3 check, and now we have the checkmate move coming up, rook c2 checkmate. So Byron did admit that he could have resigned the game. I mean, when after Bobby played bishop e6, but then you need to give credit where it's due, because Byron let the 13-year-old prodigy show him who's boss, and this is just a beautiful example of that. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Please do like and subscribe if you did. Thank you.